Here's the truth most people never face. Humans don't manipulate you because they're powerful. They manipulate you because you're predictable. The moment you become unreadable, disciplined, and strategically silent, the entire balance of power shifts in your favor. People cannot play a game they cannot see. You don't rise in this world by being kind. You rise by being clear-eyed, calculating, and immune to the games people play. And whether you admit it or not, every environment you step into, family, work, relationships, social circles, is a battlefield of motives, hidden agendas, and quiet power struggles. Most people walk through it blind, hoping good intentions will protect them. But you're not here to hope. You're here to learn how power actually works. Machiavelli understood that the person who cannot be manipulated becomes the one everyone fears, respects, or secretly envies. When you stop reacting emotionally, when you stop revealing your intentions, and when you learn how to read people without exposing yourself, something changes. You stop being prey, and you start becoming a strategist in a world filled with amateurs. If you're ready to stop being predictable, stop being controlled, and start operating with the same strategic edge Machiavelli used to survive the most cutthroat era in history, watch this video until the end. Comment your thoughts, subscribe for more dark psychological intelligence, and let's begin sharpening your mind, rule by rule. Reveal nothing, make people guess your motives. When you reveal nothing, you gain everything. People fear what they cannot understand, and they attack what they think they can predict. That is why a wise strategist never walks into a room with their intentions exposed like an open wound. Instead, you move with quiet calculation, letting others project their own expectations onto you. They feel the silence with their assumptions, and those assumptions become the chains that keep them predictable, not you. The truth is simple. The moment people know what you want, they gain the power to block it, manipulate it, or weaponize it against you. So you give them nothing. Not your plans, not your desires, not your emotional tells. You let them see only what you allow them to see: a calm exterior, a neutral tone, an unbothered expression. You become a mirror that reflects their own insecurities back at them. And as they try to read you, they expose themselves instead. This is how power silently shifts. Because while others move impulsively, trying to impress, explain, justify, or control how they are perceived, you remain unmoved. Your silence becomes strategy. Your unpredictability becomes armor. And when people finally realize they cannot read you, they make a dangerous mistake. They start acting out of fear rather than logic. They hesitate. They second-guess. They try harder to win your approval, to gain your trust, to understand your mind. Without realizing it, they place you at the psychological center of the interaction. Yet this rule is not just about hiding your motives. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no one can guess what drives you. You don't react the way they expect. You don't explain when confronted. You don't defend your decisions to make others comfortable. You operate like someone who answers only to himself. This unnerves people more than any threat could. They want your validation, your weakness, your tells, and you give them none. Power is not loud. Power is not emotional. Power is the ability to remain unreadable in a world that constantly demands your transparency. When you reveal nothing, you deny people the tools they need to influence you. And when they cannot influence you, they cannot control you. That is the moment you become truly dangerous, not because you attack, but because no one can predict how, when, or even if you will strike at all. Control your emotions, or someone else will use them against you. Emotions are the oldest weapons in human history, and the easiest ones to turn against you. The moment you let someone see what angers you, what scares you, what excites you, or what you desperately want, you hand them a map to your vulnerabilities. That's why rulers, generals, and strategists across centuries learned the same law. The one who controls his emotions controls the entire room, but the one who doesn't becomes a puppet moved by invisible strings. You've seen it. People explode in anger thinking it shows strength, yet it only exposes the exact buttons anyone can press to destabilize them. Others show neediness, hoping for connection, and end up becoming dependent on whoever knows how to satisfy or withhold that need. You must never let yourself become one of them. You operate differently. You observe your impulses like a commander studying a battlefield. You feel them, but you don't act on them. And in that moment of restraint, you gain an advantage that most people will never understand. Because when you master your emotional world, you become immune to psychological warfare. Manipulators thrive on reactions. They test you, provoke you, push you, just to see where you crack. When you don't crack, when you don't give them the reaction they calculated, their entire strategy collapses. They can't intimidate you because you don't flinch. They can't seduce you because you're not blinded by flattery. They can't guilt-trip you because you refuse to carry weights that are not yours. Your calmness becomes a fortress they cannot penetrate, and your silence becomes a battlefield they cannot win on. They start losing patience, then losing balance, then losing power, all while you remain composed. But emotional control isn't about suppressing your human nature. It's about weaponizing it. When you decide when to show emotion and when to withhold it, you dictate the rhythm of every interaction. You speak when it matters, you stay silent when it benefits you, and you react only when the reaction gives you leverage. People begin to study your face, your tone, your timing, trying to decode what you're thinking, and failing. Your unpredictability becomes intimidation. Your calmness becomes authority. Your self-mastery becomes influence. In a world where most people are ruled by whatever they feel in the moment, you become the rare individual ruled by strategy. And that alone makes you untouchable. Because if no one can control your emotions, then no one can control you. Observe everyone, trust almost no one. Most people walk through life assuming others mean well, but a strategist knows better. Every person you meet is a moving puzzle of motives, insecurities, ambitions, and hidden pressures. If you want to survive without being blindsided, you learn to observe everyone with the calm distance of a ruler studying his court. You watch how people speak when they think no one is judging them. You notice how quickly they change tone depending on who enters the room. You pay attention to the small details. The flicker of envy in their eyes when you succeed. The slight hesitation when they offer support. The way they speak about others when those others aren't around. These microsignals reveal more truth than their words ever will. And this is exactly why you trust almost no one. Because most people don't even understand their own motives, let alone admit them to you. You learn that loyalty is often temporary, shaped by convenience rather than conviction. People support you when it benefits them, admire you when you're useful, and abandon you when aligning with someone else gives them more security. If you rely on their promises, you weaken yourself. So instead, you rely on observation. You let people talk. You let them reveal themselves. And while they believe they're getting closer to you, what's really happening is that you're collecting information, understanding their patterns, their desires, and their emotional triggers. You're not paranoid. You're prepared. You don't accuse, you analyze. And because of this, you see betrayals coming long before they arrive. This is not cynicism, it's strategy. When you trust slowly, selectively, and with evidence rather than emotion, you protect your position. You protect your mind. You protect your future. You understand that trust is not a gift. It's a contract earned through consistency, alignment, and demonstrated loyalty over time. And very few people meet that standard. The world doesn't punish the distrustful. It punishes the naive. Those who trust too easily become instruments in someone else's plan. Those who observe quietly become the ones who decide the direction of their own life. Eventually, your detachment becomes its own form of power. People realize you don't depend on them, you don't seek validation, you don't crumble when someone withdraws support. And in a world built on fragile alliances, the one who trusts almost no one becomes the only one who cannot be betrayed, because he saw every move long before it happened. Stay useful but never replaceable. In every hierarchy, whether it's a workplace, a relationship, a family, or a social circle, people are valued not for who they are, but for how difficult they are to replace. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power belongs to the individual whose presence is necessary, whose absence creates inconvenience, disruption, or loss. That's why your goal is never to be liked. Your goal is to be useful in a way that cannot be replicated. When people depend on you for insight, stability, solutions, or results, they tolerate your boundaries, respect your silence, and think twice before crossing you. But when you're easily replaced, you become disposable the moment it benefits someone. So you craft yourself carefully, not as a general tool anyone can use, but as a strategic asset only a few can truly rely on. This doesn't mean becoming a servant or overextending yourself. In fact, it is the opposite. You offer value with precision. You give just enough to establish your importance, but never so much that people believe they can own you or take you for granted. You make yourself the person who solves problems no one else knows how to solve, who maintains composure when others panic, who sees patterns others overlook. You develop a skill set, intellectual, emotional, strategic, that elevates you above the ordinary. And while others get comfortable, you keep sharpening your edge. Because the moment you stop evolving, someone else will grow into the space you left open. But here is the real Machiavellian twist. You must be useful, yes, but never completely understood. Never show all your methods. Never reveal the full blueprint of how you operate. The more people think they know you, the easier it becomes to imitate you or replace you. So you contribute results, not instructions. You show competence, not vulnerability. You make your presence valuable, but your process untouchable. That's how kings and advisors survived courts filled with envy and ambition, by staying essential but never transparent. Eventually, people begin to feel it, that subtle tension between needing you and not fully having access to you. That's the psychological leverage you want. Not domination, not dependence, but a quiet understanding that you hold a position no one else can fill. And once people realize your value is irreplaceable, they stop viewing you as an option and start treating you like a necessity. Let others speak first. Their words expose their weaknesses. While most people rush to speak because silence makes them uncomfortable, they fear being misunderstood, ignored, or overshadowed. But a strategist understands that silence is not weakness. Silence is intelligence. When you let others speak first, you give them the space to reveal themselves without even realizing it. Their words expose their priorities, their insecurities, their emotional triggers, and the vulnerabilities they try hardest to hide. You see how they justify themselves, how they exaggerate their strengths, how they subtly seek approval, or how they quietly compete. Every sentence they speak before you is free information. Information they would never hand you if they felt truly powerful. This is why great rulers, negotiators, and manipulators across history never rushed to fill the air. They listened. They let courtiers, enemies, and rivals talk themselves into weakness long before a decision was made. And while they speak, something else happens. They underestimate you. They mistake your silence for submission, your calmness for confusion, your observation for disinterest. This is the illusion you want. Because when people assume you're not a threat, they stop guarding themselves. They start oversharing. They start performing. They start trying to impress you, convince you, or win your agreement. In doing so, they unconsciously reveal the exact angles you can use if you ever need leverage. You're not manipulating them, you're letting them prepare the battlefield for you. Every insecurity they confess, every resentment they mention, every ambition they expose becomes a map of their psychology, and you learned it without asking a single question. This rule also protects you from the dangers of impulsive speaking. When you wait, you avoid revealing your intentions, your needs, and your emotional temperature. You avoid saying something you can't take back. And more importantly, you position yourself as the one who responds, not the one who reacts. In power dynamics, the responder always has the advantage. You calculate your words based on what they expose. You choose your moment. You speak with precision, not desperation. And because your words come last, they hit hardest. So, this moment, hit hardest. Eventually, people start noticing something unsettling about you. In every conversation, you know more than you reveal. You walk away with information, they walk away with guesses, and over time, they begin to respect your silence, even fear it, because anyone can talk. Only the powerful can wait. Reward loyalty quietly, punish betrayal decisively. In the world of power, loyalty is rare, and betrayal is inevitable. Machiavelli understood that the strength of any kingdom, team, or relationship depends on how a leader responds to both. The wise strategist rewards loyalty quietly, never with dramatic displays, never with exaggerated praise. Loud rewards create envy. Quiet rewards create stability. When someone proves consistent, trustworthy, and aligned with your interests, you give them opportunities, access, information, just enough to strengthen their position and deepen their allegiance. You let them rise, but never so quickly that they forget why they rose. Loyal people should feel valued, not invincible. The moment they believe they are untouchable, they stop being allies and start becoming threats. So you reward them in ways that reinforce the relationship without feeding their ego. Subtle elevation, not noisy celebration. That's the Machiavellian way. But betrayal is a different matter. Betrayal must never be ignored, downplayed, or forgiven casually. A single act of betrayal tolerated becomes an invitation for more. Humans test boundaries, and disloyal people test them twice. When someone violates your trust, undermines your position, or tries to harm you behind your back, your response must be decisive. Not emotional, not explosive, but firm, strategic, and final. You don't beg. You don't negotiate. You don't give second chances to someone who already showed you their real nature. You remove them from your circle, cut off their access, and ensure they understand that their choice came with permanent consequences. People learn from what you tolerate, and nothing spreads faster than the knowledge that betrayal is met with precision. This balance, quiet reward, decisive punishment, is what maintains order in any system. If you reward loyalty too loudly, you breed jealousy. If you punish betrayal too softly, you breed rebellion. True power is the ability to maintain both without chaos. Your allies feel safe because they know you recognize loyalty. Your enemies feel cautious because they know you recognize betrayal. And the people in the middle, the uncertain, the opportunistic, learn to act carefully around you. Over time, this creates a psychological climate where loyalty becomes the most rational choice, not because people love you, but because aligning with you is safer than opposing you. And that is the essence of Machiavellian strategy: power through calculated fairness, not mercy; stability through consequences, not trust. And that's what we want. Appear calm even when calculating your next move. Power is never loud. Power is the person who looks calm, while everyone else is reacting, panicking, or exposing themselves. Machiavelli understood that in moments of tension, the one who appears composed becomes the silent center of gravity that everyone else unconsciously orbits. When you look unshaken, people assume you know something they don't. They hesitate before challenging you. They second-guess their own judgments. Your calmness creates psychological pressure without you saying a single word. But here is the real secret. Calmness is not the absence of thought. It's the cover that hides your calculations. While others show their emotions, you use your stillness as a cloak, planning your next move with precision. Because the moment you look distressed, angry, or threatened, people adjust their strategies around your reaction. You lose the upper hand. They learn how to provoke you, how to corner you, how to derail your focus. But when you stay calm, you deprive them of that map. Their attempts to control you fail because you refuse to give them anything to work with. This frustrates manipulators, confuses opportunists, and intimidates the insecure. Your composure becomes a mirror in which they see their own instability, not yours. Yet, appearing calm does more than protect you. It buys you time. Time to observe, time to calculate, time to understand the true dynamics before taking action. While others rush to defend themselves, justify themselves, or retaliate impulsively, you remain patient. You wait for the right opening, the right moment, the right leverage. Every strategist knows timing decides the outcome more than strength does, and calmness gives you the timing advantage. You strike when the enemy is overconfident or exposed, not when you're emotional. This calm exterior also changes how people perceive you. They begin to see you as disciplined, unshakable, and hard to read. They stop expecting emotional outbursts from you. They stop pushing your limits because they cannot find them. And most importantly, they stop assuming you're operating on their level. Your stillness creates the illusion of depth, an illusion that becomes real over time because the calm mind is the one that notices everything. Eventually, people learn something quietly dangerous about you. While they react, you calculate. While they talk, you listen. While they panic, you plan. Your calmness is not kindness, it is strategy. It keeps you untouchable, unreadable, and always one move ahead. Detached from outcomes, power belongs to the one who needs nothing. True power begins the moment you stop needing anything from anyone. Most people cling to outcomes with desperation. They chase approval, fear rejection, obsess over winning, and crumble when events don't bend to their expectations. That dependence makes them predictable, and predictability makes them weak. Machiavelli understood that the individual who needs nothing becomes impossible to control. When you detach from outcomes, you free your mind from emotional turbulence. You stop negotiating from fear. You stop acting from scarcity. You stop living like someone who can be threatened by loss. Detachment is not apathy. It's dominance over your own desire. It is the ability to pursue what you want without becoming enslaved to the result. The moment you stop chasing, the power dynamic shifts. People notice when you're not desperate for acceptance, success, or validation. They sense that your identity is no longer tied to external wins. Suddenly, they begin to wonder what gives you that stability. What makes you so unbothered, so internally anchored? And that uncertainty makes them treat you differently. While others overextend themselves to be chosen, noticed, or rewarded, you move strategically. You choose opportunities, not out of need, but out of alignment. You walk away from anything that compromises your standards, and because you can walk away, you become the one who dictates the terms. Detachment also sharpens your decision-making. When you're not emotionally attached to the outcome, you see the situation with cold clarity. You don't distort reality to fit your hopes. You don't lie to yourself about people's intentions. You accept situations as they are, not as you wish them to be. This realism makes you dangerous because you're operating on truth rather than emotion. People who act out of fear or longing become unstable under pressure. You remain steady. You remain logical. You remain in control. But here is the deeper truth. When you need nothing, you gain access to everything. Opportunities flow to those who are not begging for them. Respect gravitates toward those who don't demand it. Influence belongs to those who don't chase approval. Even relationships bend toward the person who is willing to walk away. Detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. And freedom is the foundation of power. In a world full of people driven by need, you become the outlier, driven by strategy. And that is why those who need nothing are the ones who cannot be manipulated at all. Power doesn't belong to the loudest voice or the strongest hand. It belongs to the mind that sees clearly, moves strategically, and refuses to play by ordinary rules. If you understand the laws in this video, you're already ahead of most people you'll meet. But understanding is not enough. Power only grows when you apply it quietly, consistently, without asking for permission. So if you're ready to sharpen your instincts, protect your mind, and elevate yourself above the predictable masses, stay with this channel. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and tell me in the comments, which law hit you the hardest? Your engagement strengthens this community, but your strategy strengthens you.